Are you thinking about starting a business from home? Before you dive in, let's make sure you're setting yourself up for success. There are 10 essential questions you need to ask yourself before you start, so don't waste time, money, or energy on something that won't work for you. I'm Tiffany Rosenbaum, and I help people like you create businesses that give you more freedom and flexibility without all the confusion. If you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on future videos. All right, let's jump into the 10 questions that will help you decide if starting a home business is right for you. All right, question number 1. Why do you want to start an at-home business? Before anything else, you need to be clear on your why. Are you looking for extra income, more flexibility, or do you want to turn your passion into a full-time career? Take a minute to write things down. Your why will keep you going when things get tough. For me, my why was really just having the flexibility to be at home with my kids and be able to be there when they need me to be. When my husband's schedule is absolutely crazy, I am the solid in their lives, but I also want to be able to make money and contribute financially to the family, as well as make a difference in the lives of other women and other people. And I just found for me the best way to do that was to have my own business. So go ahead and write down your main motivation and long-term vision for your potential future business. Question number 2. What skills and experience do you already have? Starting a business doesn't mean you have to start from scratch. You already have skills, whether it's from past jobs or hobbies or life experiences. So, for example, if you're great at organizing, a virtual assistant business might be the perfect job for you. Or if you're like my mom and you love crafting, an Etsy shop could be a great fit for you. Also, ask yourself, what kind of skills do you already have? And of those skills, which ones of them can be profitable? Do you have experience in the industry that you want to go into already? Or do you need to know a little bit more? Or do you need to learn a little bit more extra skills? The action step for this is going to be to make a list of all of your strengths and any areas where you may need training. So I would also score the items on this list in a way where you are ranking what you like best and if you have any sort of passion for those skills, or if they're just something that you're good at but you don't really like doing it. Now, I can be good at cleaning if I want to be good at cleaning. I think I am good at cleaning when I put my mind to it, but I don't like cleaning. So I might rank that as something on my list of things that I'm good at doing, but I don't like doing it. So it's going to get crossed off on my list of potential ideas for a business. Question 3. What type of business model fits your lifestyle? Because not all home businesses are the same. Some require client calls and strict schedules, while others let you work on your own time. So think about this. Do you prefer a service-based business like freelancing or consulting, or a product-based business like e-commerce or handmade goods, or maybe even a content-based business like this, like blogging and YouTube? Your action step for this question is going to be to research different business models and pick one that fits your schedule and goals. And I want you to really, really, really think about this. And something else that I want you to question or research, so kind of make it like a 3A, is how much time versus money or income, like what's the difference in that? So some businesses, you have to put a lot of time in before you actually see a payout. And other businesses, you don't have to put that much time in, and they're a little bit easier to sell. So you'll reap your rewards a little bit sooner, kind of giving you and closer to instant gratification. So, for example, a product-based business might be a little bit easier to do once you have the products already made. You can just, hey, here they are, sell them. But if you're doing like a content-based business, then it's going to take a little bit longer because you have to build the content, you have to create it, you have to, if you're building like a course or a membership, you have to put all of that together, and then you have to market it. And at first you might be doing some marketing that maybe doesn't work, so you're going to have to test the marketing and see what works and what doesn't work for your business. So the time between the point that you actually start your business and the time that you actually start seeing an income, it's going to have a longer time horizon. So I want you to also think about that when thinking about the business model of the business that you will be creating. Question number 4. Do you have space for your business at home? So this is a huge one. Like if you're selling physical products, do you have room for inventory? If you need quiet time for client calls, is there a space where you won't be interrupted? Now, this is going to be a hard one if you're a mom like me. You work from home, you stay at home, and you have little kids that are home, they're not in school. This is going to be a little bit tougher for you to figure out if you do not have regular help with childcare. It's going to be tougher to find that quiet time if a service-based business where you need quiet time with your customers is a priority. If you're selling inventory, you need to have the room for your inventory. So you need to make sure that you're going to have that room in your house if that's where you're going to store your inventory. I know when I was reselling, and I knew some resellers who either they didn't have the space in their home for the inventory, or they just didn't want it in their home, and they would get like a storage unit to store all of their inventory in. If you're a bit bigger of a business and you need more room than your home or your storage unit, then you might need to get a warehouse, and that is something to consider as well. So you'll want to set a designated space in your home if it will be a home business, and have that space be your space where your office or your business lives. So that's going to be places that you're going to keep maybe your business supplies, your laptop, any storage for, say, the receipts, because you're going to need to save all of your receipts for purchases that you've made for the business. So you just want to pick just a spot that is for your business. And if you do not have a good spot in your home where you feel comfortable or is big enough to work your business at, especially if you need quiet time to focus on your business, if you have a chaotic house, if you have lots of children, if you have pets that get in the way, or you just want a different environment because you struggle focusing in an environment that you also live in, you could also go to like a coffee shop or the library and just get that time of way to focus on your work. Question number 5, what are the legal and tax requirements? Okay, I know this stuff sounds kind of boring, trust me, but it's really important. So some businesses need a license or an LLC or special permits, but don't forget about taxes. Most people get caught off guard because they don't realize they need to set money aside for taxes. Now, you may have heard me talking before. Your business doesn't have to be an LLC. It doesn't have to be officially incorporated or anything like that, but there are perks and benefits to doing so. I do have an LLC myself, but I have operated many businesses that were just sole proprietorships that weren't even registered with the IRS or the government or the state or anything like that. So don't feel like that is a requirement, but you always want to be sure that you're tracking your taxes. Going back to what I said in the last question, you want to keep your business expenses and your personal expenses separate at all times. So something key that you want to do is you want to make your own business bank account. You can open just a free checking account with your bank. It does not need to be formally labeled as a business bank account, and you actually can't even formally label it as such unless you have an LLC and the operating agreement and the articles of incorporation and all of that jazz. So don't worry about all of that if that is not a route that you want to go down. But if you are a sole proprietorship, you could just open a basic free checking account with a bank so that it's just totally separate from your personal bank account. And as far as tracking for taxes, you could just keep a simple spreadsheet where you input all of your income and all of your expenses, and you can separate them by category. And I actually have a free one that I will share with you guys totally for free. The link is going to be down in the description below if you're looking for a really good free spreadsheet that you can use to track your income and expenses. It can even track your profit for the month or for the year, or any losses you might incur, which again is totally normal in the first few years of operating your business to run at a loss. So don't think that you're failing if that is happening, because you are not. I promise you are not. And as far as just a place to keep your receipts, I keep my receipts in a little accordion file. It's super easy. I try to write any information I need about the receipt so that I remember, because a year down the road, I'm not going to remember, what is this receipt for? It's for coffee. Okay, who did I take out for coffee? Who did I have a meeting with? So if there's any important information you need, like the date, if it's not on there, what the products or items that you got were for, then you can write that on there real quick, just so, if you do get audited and the off chance that happens, you have all that information there and you're not pressured to try to remember, what each individual receipt was. And another thing, if you have something that you maybe don't get a receipt for, so for example, as resellers, when we would get our inventory from yard sales, we obviously wouldn't get a receipt for those things. So you could just take a receipt book that you just buy at the office supply store, Walmart, CVS, they sell them too, and you just handwrite a receipt saying what it was and how much you paid and the date and the location in which you purchased it. So for yard sales, I would just put yard sale. And then that way you at least have something to go off of in the event that you do need to show it to the IRS later on, and for your own personal records. So the action step for this question is going to be to check your local and state requirements and decide on a business structure. Question number 6, how will you fund your business? All right. Many home businesses don't require a big investment, but you still need to plan for expenses like a website, software, and marketing. That stuff adds up fast. Will you self-fund, or will you look for small loans or grants? There are also ways to start a business with $0 if you're strategic, and I actually just made a video about that you can, we're going to post here. One of these sides, it'll pop up. So you can check that out as well. But let's talk a little bit more about this, okay? If you are starting a business that does need some fundage and you don't have it in your savings, or you just don't have it, period, maybe like you are a family like mine that was a one-income family, it might be a little hard for you to find fundage to start your business. And I know that might deter you from starting your business at first. So there are several different options that you can work with this. And the first one being, if you have a credit card that you can put the beginning fundage on, I don't recommend, putting thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on there. Like if you're starting a business that needs a warehouse and massive equipment, that would be something that I would look for formal business funding or grants or loans to fund that. But if you're starting a simple little at-home business that doesn't, maybe a few $1,000s of startup costs, then I would try to get a credit card if you don't already have one. Or the next thing that I recommend is to build business credit. And that is with business credit. That's totally separate from your personal credit. There is no personal guarantee on any credit that you get for your business. However, in order to build that business credit, you do need to be an incorporated business like an LLC or a corporation. So that is a little caveat to that one. But there are ways that you can build that credit that you can then use to get business credit cards or vendor credit or higher loans and stuff like that the business guarantees and not your personal business. And what that all means is that if something were to happen, the business goes bankrupt, then you yourself are not going to go bankrupt. You're not going to lose your house. You're not going to lose your savings. Well, you might lose your savings if you try to put your savings in to save it, but you're not going to lose your vehicles or anything like that just because the business failed. There are also companies that you can work with that all they do is help you build business credit, and they walk you through step by step by step everything you need to do to build your business credit and to get your business credit score up so that you can get good credit and high credit amounts to continue funding your business. And I do recommend Prime Corporate Services, and I will link them down in the description as well. I have personally worked with them, and they are fantastic. They can help you grow your credit score for your business and get some bigger funding that's not going to potentially take your personal everything away. So your action step for this question is going to be just make a basic budget and look for ways to cut out unnecessary costs and expenses. So don't be going out and, buying the most expensive thing because it's the first thing you've seen. You gotta shop around, look for things that are a little bit cheaper for the same thing that you need. You don't always have to go with the highest cost item. Just like you would look for cost savings in your personal life, you can also look for cost savings on a business aspect as well. Question 7, who is your target audience? Who needs your product or service? If you don't know, you're going to waste a whole lot of time marketing to the wrong people. And that's no fun because you're wasting your time and your money. A good way to figure this out is to ask, what problem am I solving? And who is actively looking for a solution to that? So the problem that my business solves is that I solve for people who have no idea how to start a business. I help them solve that problem. I even help them solve the problem of, I don't know what kind of business I want to start, but I'm tired of working for somebody else. I can help them figure out that problem too. And a lot of the people who are looking for that is people who I could relate to, and that's moms. Whether or not you're a mom working from home as just a stay-at-home mom and you want extra income, or you are a busy working mom and you're working outside of the house and you hate that and you want to be at home with your children. So those are my target audience. Those are also my niche down audience. And that is who I promote and sell my products to. So the action step for this is going to be to create an ideal customer profile with details like their age, their interests, and problems that they need solved. Now, when I was first looking into my business and what kind of business I wanted to have and what kind of ideal customer that I would have, I did some research and I found an absolute genius named Russell Brunson, and he is the founder of ClickFunnels. And he has a wonderful book trilogy series where he actually breaks all of this down. And so the first one that you're going to read is going to be called .com Secrets, and then there's Expert Secrets. And if you really want to get down and dirty and the nitty gritty and learn this stuff really well, his books are free plus shipping. All you have to pay is shipping. I'm going to put the link in the descriptions below. If you want to get those books, I highly recommend them to go into a deep dive into your target customer avatar. You can name your avatar. My avatar is named as Betty. So be sure to check that out as well. Question 8 is going to be, how will you market your business? A lot of people think if I build it, they will come. No, it's not true. You need a marketing plan, even if it's just a simple one. Social media, search engine optimization or SEO, email marketing, and networking are all great ways to get your first customers. So I was just talking about Russell Brunson and his trilogy. Well, book number 3 in his book trilogy is called Traffic Secrets, and that book is a deep dive into this topic. And he teaches all about how to get customers without having to spend a bunch of money on ads. He built his entire framework and business around doing that. And while he does run paid ads now, if you're looking for a way to market and you don't have a lot of money, you really want to follow Russell's teachings. So the action step for this question is to choose at least one marketing strategy and commit it for the first 3 months. Question number 9. What challenges might you face when working from home? Working from home sounds great, but it comes with challenges like distractions and lack of structure and sometimes feeling isolated. You have to set boundaries and create a schedule that works for you. So I was really bad at this at first. Like, this was a really big hurdle for me. I have only recently, maybe in the last 2 months, mastered this to a point where it is really benefiting my life and my business. And that's just being consistent as scheduling things out because of the fact that I am a busy mom. I'm a busy fire wife. I have 2 kids. They're in sports, 2 different schools. I have pets. Like, I have a lot of things that I need to do, and there's a lot of stuff to remember. And, once you're pregnant, you have pregnancy brain. And then after you have the kids, you just have mom brain. So I have begun scheduling my days out in advance, and I use the home planner from the Passionate Penny Pincher. And I have tried many planners, have loved many planners, but this is the first one that I've ever been actually consistent in using. And I will link that one down below too, because it has a little bit of business stuff, a little bit of personal stuff, definitely high focused on goals. If you're religious, then there is Bible verses that you can look up, and they have specific ones for that particular day. There's meal prepping guidance in there, a whole lot of checklists. I love checklists because making that little check mark just helps me know that, like, I am moving forward, and it's just a visual little hit of dopamine that I need to make sure that I am staying motivated. And the action step for that is going to be write down the biggest challenge you anticipate and plan a way to overcome it. Because if you can see it coming, or at least slightly anticipate that something will be coming, it's going to be way less likely to derail you. And once it hits you, you're going to go, okay, I was planning for this. I got this. All right, what do we need to do? Okay, let's get it done and keep moving. Question number 10, last but not least. What does success look like to you? Okay, for some, success means making six figures. For others, it's being able to work in pajamas and have more time with your family. That's pretty much what it is for me. I wanted to be home with my family, and being able to be home with my family, but also bringing in the income that our family wants and needs to be able to do the fun things other than just sitting on the couch and watching movies together because we have no money to do anything else. That's what success looks like to me. And to me, success also looks like being able to help as many others as possible find what success looks like to them and achieving that success. But I want to know, what does it look like to you? Will you leave me a comment down below and tell me what it looks like to you? I want to define your version of success so that you stay focused on what truly matters. The action step for this one is set clear short-term and long-term goals for your business. Now that you have these 10 questions, take some time to answer them honestly before jumping into your home business. Let me know in the comments which question made you think the most. I really would love to hear from you. If you found this helpful, give a video a thumbs up and subscribe for more business tips, and check the description for the resources that I told you about in the video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.